So, guys, here we are, MMA UK News, Stoomboy as always. So, talking about Rise and Conquer. Rise and Conquer is going to be 1st of October. It's going to be at the Rainton Arena. So, anybody looking for tickets, get your tickets now because obviously it's nearly sold out. So, if you do not want to miss this, as I say, Rise and Conquer always put on amazing shows, and this one is no different. So, yeah, ticket availability, head over to the Rise and Conquer Facebook page and you will get all the details there. Anybody that can't make the event on the evening, there will be pay-per-view through Live MMA. So again, make sure you head over to that Facebook page for Rise and Conquer, and you will get all the details for that as well. Now, as I mentioned, Rise and Conquer always put on great events, really, really good events. So this one, as I said, is no different. We've got some absolutely unbelievable amateur and pro fighters, both male and female, are going to be on the card. Keep talking about the different martial arts that's going to be on display. We're going to have obviously jiu-jitsu, my favourite sport. We're going to have boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, karate with Nathan Haywood. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of different styles on display on the evening. So again, something that caters for everyone. So yeah, definitely do not miss this at all. Now, my next guest is going to be on the show that night. So Miss TFT herself, or Mrs. TFT, should I say, Katrina King. Katrina going to be up against Megan Halliday. So again, two great fighters who are going to put on an absolute performance. As I say, we always love seeing Katrina out there. So again, we're looking forward to seeing her on October the 1st. So Katrina, listener, thank you very much for obviously taking the time to speak to me.
No problem at all. It's always a pleasure.
Listen, I know you're always busy. I mean, you obviously got the gym, you've got obviously your own stuff going on, the kids and stuff like that as well. So obviously looking after Fisher. So
that's a full-time job itself, that bit.
definitely. So how's everything going for you then? Obviously training, because as I mentioned, obviously you're busy. Yeah. So how do you manage to fit in training?
I am busy. I'm spinning a lot of plates, but you know what? Like, I would be sad if I wasn't busy. I like being busy. I've got the gym to run. I've got Fisher to support, and his fight's coming up soon. I basically feel like a mum to all of the guys at the gym as well, constantly cooking up them. And yeah, and obviously I've got 4 kids. I've got 3 beautiful stepkids and a daughter who's 1.5. So I've got a lot of different hats to wear. But you know, the more I do it, the better I feel. Again, that I am doing it, and also coaching as well. It just leads so much into my training that it just helps me all the time. Really, I just feel like because I'm fully immersed in it all the time, I'm just constantly like learning all the time, and I feel like it's really like fast forwarding my pace through MMA.
Yeah. We saw that as well. I remember seeing you at Goliath, and obviously when you came into Goliath, you were like, I was just at a jiu-jitsu comp. I think you won gold, and then you were straight up the road to Goliath, up to Dunfermline, to then obviously coach obviously the guys there as well. So again, that was and again, we're talking about busy. I mean, obviously, I can't remember where it was you were competing, but I'm sure you said it was about 5 hours away or something. So a crazy drive up the road.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like me life though. So I don't really feel like any different. It's like my life is I get up, like I get the kids ready, I coach, I train myself. I'll have like out myself during the day, normally like doing mum stuff, like putting out washing and all that boring stuff. And then I'm back at training again and coaching and teaching all night, and that's every day. And then when it's fights and when we're competing, that's the exciting time, that's the fun time. Like I don't like missing when the other guys compete. Like I like going out, I like being part of the experience. And I think like whenever you go to these places as well, you just learn so much from what your peers are doing, and you learn from their mistakes and you learn from their successes as well. So it's important to go and support them as much as I can. And sometimes I'm just there for when Fisher loses his voice. He just says what he's saying, and I just repeat it because a lot of the time his voice like breaks and stuff. So that is like my main job really. I don't really do much else.
Yeah. We have heard from a few of the guys about Fisher's voice going after every single event. So again, yeah, it's good to have someone there that's able to relay what he's trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just his backup, basically.
Let me ask as well, how do you keep motivated? Because obviously, again, we talked. I mean, you mentioned there obviously a lot of the stuff that you're doing. As I say, obviously you do a lot more as well that you're not mentioning. But how do you stay motivated? Because it can be difficult at times.
Motivation is just not a problem for me whatsoever. There's just not, like, I've always been a ridiculously driven person. I don't know if it's like the values that have been still instilled with me from my parents, from my mum being quite like working class for being a single mother and stuff like that. I've just always been ridiculously driven, and like if I'm ever not getting something, like it eats me away so much inside that I have to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So motivation is honestly just not a problem for me. I don't think, oh, I need to do this to motivate myself or anything like that. I tell you what's more motivation than anything else in the world, knowing that you've got to fight. Like that really, really motivates you. Tell you what motivates us even more, like if I ever like don't do good at something, or if I've ever had like a round and I've not been happy with my round or whatever, like half an hour later you'll still see me down the CMC front absolutely smashing out the hill sprints because that's what I need to do to make up for it. Yeah. So motivation's never been a problem for me. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of like MMA as a sport is as much about physical as it is about your mindset as well. I spend a lot of time working on my mindset. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of things that focuses on creating a strong mind and things like that. And I think that is just as important as your physical ability as well. But that's stuff I've always just been interested in. It's stuff that me and Fisher just talk about all the time as well. And the guys at the gym, we bounce ideas off each other and stuff. So that's really important as well, because what you're about to do is no easy feat. And you've got to I feel like you've got to make a pact with your mind and tell it like, no matter what your mind's trying to protect you all the time. It's trying to stop you from growing. It's trying to stop you from risks and things like that. But by not having risk, you have no opportunity for personal growth. Yeah. So what I do is I tell my mind, even when it's going, oh, don't do this, don't do that, I go, shut up. You're going in there whether you like it or not, and you're going to love it anyway. So you either get with the program now or you get with the program when you're in there. And my mind normally gets with the program before I go in there. I don't know if you've seen my first fight, but honestly, I just had this overwhelming sense of joy from the second I got there to the second I went on. Like I had to like weigh myself up a bit because I was just so happy. I was probably smiling like a Cheshire cat the entire time. I was actually loving it. I remember before I had a fight, I watched some of these women walk out and I was like, how do they look so happy? How do they look so relaxed? They must be terrified, you know? And now I understand, like, I'm going to go and do what I love doing. Like, I love it. Everything. Yeah.
Good thing as well. I mean, obviously a few of the women, not just in martial arts or MMA, but in jiu-jitsu as well. And they talk about now's a fantastic time for female combat sports because there's more and more women getting involved. As you have came from a time as well. I think it was Liv Taylor I was talking to, where she said a few years ago she would have to go to other gyms or bring in people into the gym just to get training partners for fights because there wasn't a lot of females in the sport. Whereas now we're seeing a lot more females becoming involved in combat sports, as in not just MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, and other combat sports as well. So it's a great time for female sports.
It's a fantastic time. I mean, there's loads of like trailblazers. That Fionn, she just won that jiu-jitsu competition, hasn't she? She just smashed that.
ADCC,
I think it's a really, really good time. I don't know what COVID's done to some people, but I think it's made people come back and go like, I want to do something, like I want to try something new and things like that. So that's probably a good start. For me, it is very difficult to find training partners. It's difficult to find sparring partners. It's difficult to find people to fight. And if you want to spar with them, you're probably not going to be fighting with them as well. So that creates even more problems. But I think it's actually imperative as a female to be fighting and training with other females. If you are fighting and training with other males, they're either being too nice to you or they just sit on you and you can't do anything sometimes. So it is very, very important to get competitive sparring with other females. And I feel I have been building like a community of other women and get sparking their interest in it. And there's some women who are coming through my gym who I coach and train who may never want to fight, but they just enjoy doing it for fitness. There's some that are coming in that actually really have potential and could fight, you know, and take it really seriously. And then there's other women who are existing fighters around the area that I'm just kind of trying to gravitate to, build relationships with, and we're like working on each other better. And you know what? We are bringing it to each other as well. Like, we're not going in and be like, oh, let's have a nice fun tappy spot today. I'm going to see these Scottish lasses and they're trying to take me bloody heat off, and I'm doing and I'm doing the same to them. But like, I wouldn't respect them if I wasn't, you know. Like, I want to put everything on them and they're going to put everything on me, because when it comes to fight night and I get in there and I get hit for the first time and I'm like, oh my god, you know, you want it to be exactly like how it is when you're fighting. You want to feel the nerves. You want to get fresh man round, so you're like really exhausted and you're really pushing through. That's the sort of things that you need as a female. But yeah, there's some amazing females all over the northeast and in Scotland, where I do a lot of my sparring and training. And I think as a sport, it's just growing and growing and growing. And there's other sort of like me's in different areas who are like trying to get more women doing classes and stuff like that. Like Juice Cardone down in Hull, she does loads of like seminars and things and gets people doing stuff like that. And I think it's like really, really, really good to see, because the more women in it, the more training partners you got, and the better you're going to get, because you need other women pushing you. So
you mentioned as well, obviously, Fionn Davies. Fionn Davies this year became the first ever UK black belt to win an IBJJF Worlds in the gi, and then obviously the first ever UK grappler to win the ADCC. In history. I mean, you go back. So obviously etched their name in history, and as I said, on the back of Fionn, obviously the things that Fionn's done, not just Fionn, but obviously other females out there as well. We've seen a big influx of females coming into the sport, whether it be, as I said, MMA or jiu-jitsu and things like that. So I still remember a time when I first started, there was, I mean, you would go to a comp, you would maybe see, you're talking about a comp with 200-300 people, and you would see a half a dozen women. Whereas now, do you know what I mean? I'm going to comps and I'm seeing 40-50 women turning up, which is phenomenal.
Like, actually, women love a good fight, so.
Listen, some of the best matchups I've ever seen, whether it be in MMA or even jiu-jitsu, have been female fights. Do you know what I mean? Because as you mentioned, I mean, women come to scrap, they come to fight. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to see, a lot of times, you're not going to see a boring women's match, because you guys want to kill each other and then be friends after it. So
it's so strange, isn't it? It's so strange, because like, me personally, like, I like to build other women up. That growing up, probably most of my life, you have other women sometimes try and tear you down and stuff like that. I'm in such a mindset that I want to build other women up. But when I'm fighting someone, obviously, like, I'm hating them the entire fight camp, right? But if you think about it, afterwards, right, she's probably got loads in common with you. She likes the same stuff as you. She probably has the same mindset as you. So afterwards, you know, you can shake hands or whatever. Like, I do my first fight with Lauren Ray, or all through my fight camp, like, she's my first fight. I'm like, right. And then afterwards, like, there's like 4 of us hugging, and like, it's actually really poignant to me. Like, at the time, I didn't mean anything, but after Lauren started, like, I rang her messaged her the week after. I was like, do you want to come train with us? And she was like, yeah, like, with the exact same body type, shape, size. Like, she's really like strong. She's got good conditioning. She goes for it. I was like, she actually needs this woman in my life. Like, she's going to get me better. I can get her better. And now we're like really, really good friends. I mean, she's off in Thailand at the minute, so she's not training in the UK at the minute. But it is so weird, like, it's such a surreal thing.
And then tell us about the matchup then. So obviously the matchup for you, I mean, how did you find out? Because as you mentioned, obviously it's difficult sometimes finding a training partners your size, or even a fight of someone your size, your weight, and so on. So how did you find out you were going to be matched on Rise and Conquer this time?
Well, this fight was already scheduled on Goliath, but unfortunately Megan had to pull out. And now I was just pestering Fisher, like, come on, get us another fight. And we were trying, and we like offered some stuff out, but nothing came back. So, but then I was like, go on, ask Megan again, go on. Like, well, she might, like, you know, and then she approached us and came back again and said they want the fight back on. So like it just shows like she probably pulled out for legitimate reasons. Like when someone pulls out, you're always like, God damn it, but she probably did pull out for legitimate reasons because she wants to fight back on again. So hats off to her. Let's go. Like I'm excited now. But when Fisher told us, I was actually buzzing because I'd already trained for this fight, and then that fight was gone, and I was like, oh, and then he was like, it's back on. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. What about nerves as well? I mean, you talked about obviously being motivated, going into fight day. Again, we always talk about the mentality. The mentality, obviously, you've got the physical side, but the mentality is just as big. So how do you deal with nerves and stuff like that on the day? Do you have any superstitions? Because some people like to put on the left glove first and then the right glove. And what about you?
It is because like I did, like even when I was like getting ready for my sparring, I was like, I need to listen to this song, and then I need to do this, and then I need to make sure I eat the right food. And you do, like, you definitely get yourself into routines and stuff to start preparing yourself. And I think that's a clever thing to do, like get yourself into a routine so you're telling your body, okay, this is what we're going to go and do now, and then your body can kind of get with the program. That's good. But when it really comes down to it, it doesn't really matter. Like you'll have these little voices in your head and be like, oh, you didn't eat your porridge today, like you're gonna lose your fight, or you're not wearing those shorts, so you do really good when you wear those shorts, so you're gonna lose your fight. Like it doesn't actually matter. None of that matters. What matters is all of the hard work that you've put in the camp, all of the habits that you've built, everything that you've drilled into your subconscious. When you're in there, you just gotta let go and you just gotta see what comes out. And I think that's the most exciting thing for me, because I'm like a little bit of like a control freak. I like doing things a certain way. I like training things a certain way, but actually when I get in the cage, I've got to just let go and let it flow and just let it all come out and see what comes out. So I guess that's kind of like how I deal with my nerves. I mean, I don't see them as nerves. I don't know, there's a book, Tony Robbins book, and the guy says in this Tony Robbins book, he says there was two famous people, and they both described the same things as they were like about to go out to perform. Oh, my arms are my hair standing on my arms, like I'm feeling a bit nervous, I feel butterflies, my mouth's gone really dry, like all the same sort of symptoms that you feel before you go out for a fight, sort of thing. And one of them said, I'm just so nervous, I just can't do it. And the other one said, I'm so ready to go. And that's how I feel like before my fight. I feel all these little nerves and stuff, and I'm like, right, I'm ready. That means my body knows what we're doing now, and we're ready to go. So it's all about perspective, really. But good, I want to feel the nerves, because if I don't feel the nerves, I don't care. If I don't care, I shouldn't be there.
Definitely. Just got a couple of comments coming in. So Augusto Castillo just saying, go Katrina. I
think that's Caesar.
Well, I think is that Caesar's dad, I believe, because
I met him in an airport the other day, actually. So
yeah, I think that might be Caesar's dad, and then I think Caesar is Juggernaut MMA, I believe.
No, that's Pete. That's Big Pete.
Okay.
That is. Yeah.
Okay, so Pete Augusto will be Caesar then. so yes. And then so obviously Juggernaut MMA, just obviously a wee punching emoji and clapping hands. And then Aaron East of MMA UK News just saying this is a great matchup. Definitely looking forward to this one. So and it is a great matchup, as Katrina said. It was going to be on Goliath. Obviously, unfortunately, fell through, and then obviously they're matched up this time. So it's definitely going to be an unbelievable match. So
yeah, I think it will be a good matchup. I mean, like if you look at it on paper, right, like realistically, I've had one fight. Nobody really knows what I do or what I can do, sort of thing. Like maybe my last fight, I only really showed like sort of wrestling and stuff like that. Megan's definitely had more experience and more time fighting. She's trained for a lot longer than us as well. So we're just going to go both see what we can bring to the cage. But I think I've got this one in the bag. You know, I feel really confident about this one. More confident than my last fight. Definitely.
That's one thing about obviously like TFT. I mean, the level. I mean, again, I've spoke to everybody about the level in TFT. I mean, all the way from Like, so obviously your guys like Fisher, Phil, Mick, and so on, all the way down to your, as you mentioned, the hobbyists, the people that just come in, the hobbyists as well. I mean, some of the hobbyists that come in are unbelievable, and you'll never see them fight because they only come in just to keep in shape and train and things like that. And some of these guys, and male and female, are unbelievable to watch. But I say for whatever reason, they'll never ever do an actual fight in a cage, or they'll do a jiu-jitsu match or anything like that.
I think anyone who comes to our gym like gets a taste for it. They all want to have a go at it, you know. We've got such a big team, you know, and the gym is, because of Fisher, it is mainly centered on fighting rather than it is hobbyists. But we love having the hobbyists. We encourage them to come in, and the hobbyists get to train along the sides of like world class fighters, or they get to see them as well. But our fighting squad is actually ridiculous. Like, it's phenomenal, the level of fighters that we've got in our gym. We've got UFC fighters from all over the country coming to our gym to train because they want to train with our guys. They want to train with Fisher as well, because Fisher just has a way of dissecting MMA and problem solving so well. And he is a really good coach. Like, I'm annoyed to say this. He's an amazing coach. He's such a good coach. So I understand why people are like sort of gravitating towards the gym, but also it's quite like a humble place. Like, it's not a place full of people like rubbing each other's egos and stuff like that. If someone like gets a bit too big for the boots, everyone's on them, like actually just like ripping the piss out of them. So it keeps everybody humble and level, and it's a very family feel gym. It's very, very family oriented there. So yeah, I love being there. It's just like me sitting at home really. I'm probably there. Hours-wise, I'm probably in there more than I am at home. Mind sleep time.
And then, what's next for you then? So obviously 2023 just around the corner. So obviously October the 1st will be your main focus. Obviously Rise and Conquer. But then obviously after that, what would you like to see yourself doing going forward?
I'd like to be 3-0 before the end of the year, and I think I can do that, you know. So I'm going to go for that. I want to be known as one of the best female amateurs in the UK. I want to be known for that. So that is my plan first and foremost. In terms of my career, I've got 4 babies to raise as well at the same time. Me and Fisher are getting married next year as well, but I'm like literally not thinking about that at all. Don't care. But imagine that when there's going to be so many fighters there. It's going to be ridiculous.
Just be pictures of cauliflower ears and, do you know what I mean, black eyes and stuff like that everywhere.
That's gonna be crazy. But that's what the future like holds for me, and I'll make a point of like really planning out what I want to do and really try to like manifest what I want to do and see it through and envisaging it. And being grateful for everything that I have got to make sure that I'm like drawing more good stuff towards myself. But at the minute, I'm just keeping my head down, training really hard, exposing my flaws, fixing my flaws, finding more flaws, being pissed off I've got more flaws, exposing them again, fixing them again, and it's just that vicious cycle going on and on and on. But I'm at a point now where I just feel super, super, super confident in my abilities and what I know right now. And I'm super confident with my fitness, and I'm just really, really excited to go and fight now and do what I really love. So
nice. And then final thing for you then, Katrina. Obviously, been in the game for a little bit. You're. But I mean, you're already surrounded with fantastic people. Obviously, at TFT, and not just TFT, but obviously you train with people, as you mentioned. You come up with Scotland, Scottish girls come down, and obviously other people that you've managed to train with. But anybody you want to shout out to, so the usual friends, family members, teammates, anything like that.
Look, every time I do this, I've missed somebody out, right? And I feel absolutely awful, right? So I wrote a list on the back of a Trek 4 cereal thing. Obviously, a big shout out to Fisher. He knows, like, he's a top guy and he really sorts me out and he puts a lot of time into me. And I don't know who anybody else who's got anybody better in their corner, so that sets me up pretty good. My parents, because honestly, they are #1 babysitters, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be going to spar in Scotland every weekend or do all the things, all the training that I need to do. Like, honestly, they're invaluable. Like, if I didn't have them, none of this would happen at all. All the guys at TFT, because they're amazing. Jack Hardy does my conditioning and stuff, so shout out to him. And Ben Goldsborough covers my 4 to 7 kids classes when I'm going off sparring and stuff like that. I mean, women's classes, right? And so a big thank you to him, because he has to put up with a lot. He has to put up with like 4-year-olds like hanging off him and stuff and trying to kill him and things like that when I'm away. So I actually really appreciate that, because no one else will do that class except you. And then shout out to my training partners. Liv's been my main training partner for this. She's fighting as well, so it's going to be mint having her fighting as well. And Sim as well, the girl at the gym. And then Lanch Green's been coming down and training with me on mornings, like Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. And I'm like ever grateful for that, because she's like at a serious caliber of fighting as well. Like, she just fought for Bellator as well, so she's amazing. Gemma Lee Horrors, who I do me sparring with. All the girls at Scottish Hit Squad and Asian Hit Squad, would like, especially Georgia, because that's who I do most of my stuff with there. Mackenzie and Lana of Rough House, and Lucy as well from Innovation Gym as well. As you can see, I'm building some list of girls here, so they all know who they are. So big thank you to all the girls who were like helping us get to where I need to be, and I hope I'm pushing you to get better as well, because that's what it's all about.
Definitely. Definitely. So guys, there we go. We got Katrina King, Mrs. TFT MMA. So going to be up against Megan Halliday. That's at Rise and Conquer, October the 1st at Rainton Arena. So we're only, what we said, 11 days away. So so a week on Saturday. So we're going to be in Sunderland. It's going to be a great night. As I say, have a look at the Rise and Conquer Facebook page. You got all the fights are on there. So again, we're talking about some of the unbelievable talent that's going to be on display that evening from all over the UK, and further afield as well. So so definitely make sure you're getting either a ticket for the event. As I say, they're almost sold out, so there's only a few tickets left. So again, definitely get your ticket for that. If you can't make the event on the evening, as I say, there will be pay-per-view live MMA, £10.99. Now, £10.99. Anybody that knows pay-per-view prices knows that's a fantastic price. I mean, some pay-per-views are charging 15 quid or 20 quid, and the cards are nowhere near as good as the Rise and Conquer card on the 1st of October.
That's because we're all like cheap in the Northeast, that's why. So yeah. So £10.99, fantastic price, definitely a fantastic price. And again, that's on live MMA. So head over to Rise and Conquer, and you get details of tickets and the pay-per-view. So I'm looking forward to coming down. Obviously, Katrina and Andrew obviously invited me down, so definitely looking forward to getting down. This will be the first time I've seen pay-per-view for Rise and Conquer previously, but this will be the first time I'll actually be in attendance. So always love coming down to the Northeast. So the Northeast is always a great place. Very, very knowledgeable crowds as well. So the spectators know exactly what they're watching. So and they don't know nothing, mate.
But they do.
It's so funny. Some people they say to you, like, sometimes they're like, did you think about like blocking that punch, or did you think about checking that kick? It's like, yeah.
We said that as well. I can't remember who was talking to. They were saying that like some dads, because obviously dads get very, very into the fight, whereas mums tend not to watch sometimes. And the dads are standing at the side of the cage shouting instructions. And they say they've been in the cage and they've been looking at their dad thinking, what the fuck are you talking about?
What are you telling?
Yeah, what are you telling me to do? Like, it doesn't even make sense. So yeah.
I think everyone after 2 pints thinks that they can fight, though. That's what they think.
They're a UFC fighter after 2 pints, definitely. So
a few stints on Rise and Conquer where there was like a few Rise and Conquers ago, there was more fights outside of the cage than was inside of the cage. So that hopefully has sorted itself out now. But
it's always a great event. Always a great event Rise and Conquer put on. So yeah, we're looking forward to the 1st of October. But Katrina, listen, I appreciate obviously taking your time out, because I know you're a very, very busy woman. So thank you very much for obviously taking the
Like,
time to speak to me.
this gives me 20 minutes off having to look after kids. So I'm actually thankful to you, mate. So thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you again, Katrina. Listen, all the best with training. I hope all goes well for you for the next week or so. But listen, enjoy, and I'll see you on the 1st of October.
See you on the 1st.
Thank you.